How you doing, folks? In the last video you might remember that my MG broke down, and I'm now on the way to go and collect it and try and get it running again. And of course it's lashing rain. I kind of have to do it today anyway, so I've got my raincoat on, and yeah, unfortunately I'm going to be working outside in this muck. But let's see if we can get it driving a bit better, get it back up to the house, and we'll assess it and see what actually happened. I have my suspicions. The laws of probability dictate that on any given day I tried to do this, it would be raining, so I may as well just do it now. Anyway, I have the distributor cap with the leads already installed on it and already labelled. I have a new rotor arm, the plug's already gapped, so I'm going to just throw all of them in, and we're going to get the engine started, warm it up a little bit, and then have a look at our mixture and see how we're looking from there. I don't know where who installed these leads before, but they're the ones on the right that I've taken off the car, and the ones on the left are half the length. I mean, those ones are just way too long. I knew that anyway, but given the fact that I had to coil them up, that may have been causing interference or poor spark or something like that. So that's one of the reasons I'm actually changing the distributor cap and leads and everything. But let's get the plugs into it as well. Okay, so there's a new rotor, cap, plug, leads, all that on it. So let's try and start it and see how it runs. Right, now we just need to let it warm up. I'm just looking here at the spark I'm getting, and I would say that is a very poor spark, to be honest with you. So what I'm thinking is that is a 12 volt ignition coil, and they're using the ballast wire, which only gives it 6 volts when it's actually running. Now I have a stock ignition coil. I'm going to put that in and see if it makes a difference. Now the weather has turned bloody atrocious again, but we seem to have a better spark now. I've put the coil on from the purple MG anyway, so it seems to be doing the business there for me. So yeah, I really need to go through the wiring in this car, though. You know, that's one thing I will say. And you see disconnected wires like that, you'd have to wonder. Anyway, right, so that's that. I'm going to put the lead back on the number 1 plug. And we'll see how we're looking, and we'll take it for a short drive, get some heat into the engine, and see how we go from there. So let's see now. It's should be able to run fairly well now. There you go. Yeah, it sounded pretty good, to be honest with you now. But there again, it was the last time, so that's lulling me into a false sense of security. Right, let's get some heat into this. Okay, I'm going to reverse off the driveway here and give it a bit of a spin. I'm just going to go up and down the road a few times, just make sure everything is as it should be, and then I'll do a final little tweak of everything, make sure it's all right if it needs it, and yeah, we'll see how we go. But just waiting for it to demist a little bit first of all, because it's all fogged up. At least the demisters are working anyway, because that's something. So yeah, right, okay, let's see how we go. She's pulling well. It's actually driving really good. It might have just been an ignition system issue. I mean, those plugs might have just been arseways or something like that, but maybe it was the coil as well. Could have been that the coil was breaking down, it was getting hot or something like that. I mean, I could theorise all day, but the thing about it is that it is driving all right now. So I'm going to take it out on the main road, get a bit more heat into it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we're motoring, folks, and it's pulling along well here now, so long may this continue. If it stays going like this, we'll be fine. I'm on the motorway now, and I'm just taking it easy, to be honest with you, but it's definitely not the day to be driving this car home. Like, you know, slightly sketchy classic car on when the tracking is a mile out as well. I'm not all that confident on the grip on the front end on it, so just have to take it slow and take it easy, and we'll be all right. But I won't be pushing it around any bends, that's for sure. So yeah, anyway, look, I'll report back, and with any luck we'll get it home, and then we can when we have it safely in the garage and everything like that, if it's running perfectly by the time I get it home, I'll be very cautious about doing anything with it at that stage. But if it's running like a ball of crap again, then we will we'll revisit it and see how we're looking. So I'll report back now shortly. I'm getting bloody saturated. The wind is blowing the rain in underneath the rag top, and it's coming in all over me. This is not a car for this kind of weather. Look, it's doing fine, but you know, I think today, all things considered, I'd sooner be in my Toyota, to tell you the truth. But look, you know, classic car motoring being what it is, you have to take the good with the bad, and you do make a commitment, and this is a commitment I'm glad to make, to be honest with you. I still love this car, and I will get it right. You know, I mean, it's yeah, it's a little on the stressful side of things, but I'm actually having fun as well. So, you know, look, we'll see how we get on. I might not be saying that if I'm trying to clean the plugs on a wet roadside somewhere. Let's hope not. Well, we're still motoring, and we are getting there, but it's doing the same thing it did the last time when I was on my way up to Dublin, and that is it's now idling at 1500 RPM. So that to me would suggest it's actually just way too rich. So yeah, I mean, look, we'll just have to we'll have to see. What I'll do is I'll get home, and if I have a little bit of time, I'll have a quick look at the carbs while the engine's properly hot, and we'll see. I mean, if it was a mile out of adjustments, then fine. I mean, that's an easy thing to do. But I'm not going to be doing it with the gas tester or with the colour tune or anything like that. I'm going to do it the old school method by lifting the dashpot pistons and seeing if the revs climb or drop. If the revs climb, it's too rich. If they drop, it's too lean. So we'll see. Home safe and sound. Not a bother to it. In actual fact, I'd go so far as to say that if it wasn't for the squiffy handling because of the tracking being out, it actually drove really well. So yeah, now as I said, it is idling at 1500 RPM at the moment, so clearly it shouldn't be doing that. So just before I do anything else, and while the engine is still hot and all that after its journey, let's just have a look at it and see how things are. Okay, so according to the method of lifting the dashpot piston, the front carb was a bit on the lean side of things. It probably took 3/4 of a turn to get it right, but it seems to be okay now. The back carb was actually bang on. So I'm gonna just make sure they're fully balanced anyway. They should be fairly all right. So I'd say what all I need to do is just turn off the engine and get the linkage so it's even on both carbs, and that should do the trick for us. I'm not going to go too mad on it, especially not now because it's raining, apart from anything else. The rad fan is on full whack there, but the engine's not hot. It's not overheating at all. So might be just a rad fan temperature switch. But I mean, have a listen to it. I mean, that doesn't strike me as a particularly unhappy engine. So maybe most of the problems were actually with the ignition system. So, as I said, let's leave well enough alone. It drove fine. I'll get the tracking done. There's the rad fan turning off there now, so. We'll just see if we can take that little wobble out of the engine, if you know what I mean, just by balancing it. It should be fine then. You know what, folks, I'm going to actually leave it there at this video, simply because of the fact that I actually think it's good enough to use now to some degree, and we can give it a bit more of a shakedown as time goes on. The next thing I'm going to get done is I'm going to bring it down and get the tracking done. I'm hoping I might even get that done later on today. Fingers crossed anyway. And yeah, I mean, it's I'm much more confident about the car now. It just goes to show that it's a running issue which you think can be caused by the carbs could actually be an issue with the ignition system. So you have to start with the valves first, then the ignition system, and then get onto the carbs, because one thing can throw you down the wrong path completely, and it's entirely possible that that's what happened to me. So yeah, I mean, look, we'll be picking this up in the future anyway with this car. I mean, there's plenty more to be done on it. I have to sort out these electrics apart from anything else, and there's a few other bits and pieces to do. So yeah, look, I'll chat to you soon. Please do hit the subscribe button before you go, and we will chat soon. Thanks for watching.